Okay, family. Dylan, what's good with you, bro? How you doing? How you doing? How y'all doing? I just have to send out a couple links and get some stuff ready. I made a mistake, and that's why I'm a little bit behind schedule. I made a mistake, and I had to like redo the whole thing over again, as far as the wallpaper is concerned. Now, hold on. Let me keep a straight face. Let me keep a straight face. As y'all come in, please hit that like button. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. Okay. I gotta be serious. I gotta be serious. Okay. Watching some videos, right? Um, I saw this one video about a guy, Kyle Rittenhouse. Now, originally, I didn't feel bad for him because he went out of his way to kill people. Pretty much, nobody made him do anything. He's not responsible for protecting any property that's not his in a state that he doesn't live in. And he went over there. He was harassing people. There's video evidence of him harassing people with a gun. And people said, okay, you know what? Since you're harassing people with this gun, let's take this gun from you. And then, he shot him. So, I wouldn't feel bad for him, especially he's hanging with the Proud Boys. He's had videos of him beating women up. You don't feel bad for a person like that, a suspected white supremacist. But after this video, I saw this. This is him on trial. Okay? This is him, right?
There were three people right there.
Take a deep breath now.
I don't know. My feelings. You can't help. I'm sorry. You can't help but feel some bit of
People right there.
You can't help. Oh my God! Just
Take a deep breath now.
Whatever.
he is clearly. Oh, look at him.
That's where I run.
We're going to just take a break anyway. You can just relax for a minute, sir. We're going to take a break about 10 minutes. And
Okay. Okay. Hell no. Look. So this is why you guys should be following me on social media, right? So I made this meme, right? I made this meme. I was like, um, the meme said the caption was, "Oh, the parents saying, oh, so the teacher's just lying on you, huh?" And then I said me, and then this was the face. Hold on, this was the face he's making. So I asked people on my social media, come up with your best meme. I got so many. I still got to post. I still got to post. I got so many people making memes.
take a deep breath now.
Hold on. We can't do Kyle like this. We can't do Kyle like this. Hold on.
Whatever.
Hold on. I don't want to do him like that. Now we got to do him a little bit of justice here.
Right there.
We got to do him a little bit. Hold on. I'm sorry, y'all. Let me take this back. Because we really got to get in depth with the emotion that you clearly tell I guess he's trying to cry. I've never seen, well, didn't mean to do that. I've never seen crying with somebody who doesn't have any tears. I've never seen that. I've never seen that. But he's crying. There are no tears. Okay. He looks like he's about to throw up, kinda. Like he keeps making his face like he's like about to throw up. That's what I think. Maybe he's sick. I don't know. But You know, I am a man with a heart. I do have a heart. I do have some sympathy. Since he's clearly fake crying, that's clearly what he's doing. I decided to take it upon myself to help him out, you know, with his case, you know, because clearly he's struggling. So let's do that for him.
People right there. That's where I run.
His face is bone dry.
For a break anyway. You can just relax for a minute, sir. We're going to take a break about 10 minutes.
There was
Okay.
right there.
Okay. All right. Okay. Let's turn the music off now. Let's turn the music off. That was a good laugh. That was a good laugh. Okay. Very interesting. Okay. Let's get started with the subject. And I saw this video on TikTok a minute ago. I put it on my Twitter. So if you guys are following me on Twitter, which you should be, it is J_Elite10 on Twitter and Instagram. You should be if you're not. But, right? I saw this and I posted it on my Twitter. So you guys should, if you guys haven't seen it, you can go look at that. I saw this interesting case right here. Minimize that because we're not doing the most right here. Why's everything is so big? This thing. I mean, all my videos are super big. Anyway, here we go.
Annie Duncan is going to prison after her behavior helped put hundreds of others behind bars illegally.
013 charged with tampering with evidence.
Beyond pleading guilty, Duncan made no personal comments about the havoc created by the scandal. In a lab similar to this one, Duncan admits falsifying drug tests, for example by adding cocaine to samples, tainting trial evidence. When she was finally caught last year, Duncan tampered logs. The result? Look at all these faces, a fraction of the tens of thousands of people Duncaned. Street slang for anyone whose evidence she handled. 300 convictions set aside in Boston alone.
Her actions totally turned the system on its head.
A review of every case the chemist laid her hands on from 2003 to 2012 is still underway. In the court system, the fallout is staggering. Consider the numbers. According to a special counsel's report,
So you guys know, this is under the Copyright Protection Act for Common News and Research. I'm not going to play the whole thing just so you guys can understand a little bit.
cases have been reviewed involving more than
That is 40,000. So you guys know that's 40,000 cases.
86,000 drug samples and the analysis of more than 5 million documents. At a cost to taxpayers of at least $7 million and climbing.
When you throw a stone into a pond, there is a ripple effect.
Arguably the worst ripple effect felt by Plymouth County District Attorney Timothy Cruz because of Donta Hood. In 2009, a cocaine conviction put him behind bars for 5 years. But when the lab scandal exploded, Hood was set free because Duncan had lied on the stand about her credentials, claiming she had a master's degree in chemistry. 8 months after he was sprung, Hood allegedly shot and killed Charles Evans in this parking lot in a fight over drugs. The victim's family declined to comment.
There's no bigger pain than somebody being released that goes out and kills somebody.
For cops on the beat like Stanley David, frustration.
It's like a pass. They think they beat the system once, they think they can beat the system again.
Which brings us to why. Why did Annie Duncan do it? She declined our request to explain, but her lawyer says the mother of a disabled young son only wanted to help her career, taking shortcuts to get more cases done, never considering the consequences.
The furthest thing from her mind is that this is going to ultimately cost millions of dollars. It's going to throw the entire Massachusetts criminal justice system into a tailspin, and thousands of absolutely it has.
As Duncan was led away to begin serving a minimum 3-year sentence, authorities expect it could take at least that long to reconcile thousands of Duncan cases and restore faith.
Now, okay, for the sake of copyright, I'm going to stop it right here and I'm going to play the whole thing, even though everything I'm playing is under the Copyright Act. Let's really go into that. First off, the first thing I say is, like, she looks like she's not white, but she's not black. She looks Indian to me. Doing some research, she is at Trinidad. She is like an Indian from Trinidad. Like, she's from Trinidad. Her people are from Trinidad, but she's like a Indian from Trinidad, according to what I've seen. And we all know the notorious anti-black hatred and vitriol that Indians have for black people in general. We know that. They don't even like dark-skinned Indians. We know that's a fact. That's not me coming up with a conspiracy. That's not me saying something that's not well known. That's a well-known thing. So she's out here lying, falsifying evidence, thousands and thousands, tens of thousands of cases, tens of thousands of people being arrested. Now, when I looked up the people who've been arrested by her actions, what they're trying to do, they're really kind of trying to be hush-hush about this story because the story isn't really trending. They're really trying to be hush-hush about it. But let's look at this. Look at this picture. This picture, you see a whole bunch of black men. You see one non-black. He looks like he's like maybe a white man or a Hispanic man at the top corner. And everybody else is black. The two examples of the men who are on trial, who's trying to get out because she falsified evidence, they're black too. So all of these people are black. However, I'm looking through stories after stories after stories. They're not specifying the race. They're saying, oh, she lied and she falsified evidence to send innocent people to prison, or to send people to prison for longer. She falsified evidence. But there is no chart. They're not mentioning the race of the people she's sending. Look at this. This picture looks like she sent almost all of the people to jail who were black. She sent every black case she got. She sent them to prison. They're saying that in just Boston alone. They don't know how much she's done that. And this begs the question, okay, if she's doing this, who else is doing this? There's probably a whole bunch of other black people who've been sent to prison because white supremacist chemist is falsifying evidence, putting cocaine and drugs on them. So we have the police, the actual race soldiers on the street. If they don't plant evidence on you and they take you to jail, you get the damn crime lab chemist who's doing that, who's planting evidence on you. And then you got to go to a suspected white supremacist judge like the one for Kyle Rittenhouse. And you got to deal with that. So the system is 100% against black men. Like from the beginning to the end, in every single level, it's against black men. From the police who pick you up and arrest you if you don't die on the way to prison. When they take your DNA sample, you have chemists who plant drugs on you, and they mix that with your DNA samples. And then you got to go to a white supremacist judge and deal with a majority white to all white jury. So from everywhere, from the beginning to the end, black men faces obstacles of anti-black racism in the justice system. Okay. Now, before we move on, somebody made this comment. Kid Gerbo1 made a comment. He's white. When we were talking about Kyle Rittenhouse, he's white and shot 2 white people. Who cares about that clown? Okay. Some people have said this. The Kyle Rittenhouse case, okay, he shot 2 white people, so that's not really our business if he shot 2 white people. That is absolutely the wrong way to think about this. This is very, very important to black people. This is about black people. So you guys know, this is about black people. This isn't about just because he shot 2 white people. Oh, that's a white problem. That is not a white problem. This is a black problem because he didn't come from Illinois to Wisconsin to shoot white people. He came to shoot black people. There's videos of him harassing black people. He came to get black people. He got white people because white people were getting at him. That's the reason. They're defending him because he was on the side of white supremacy. He's throwing up hand signals, hanging out with Proud Boys, or doing all that stuff. He's on that side. This is about black people. If they let him go, just like they let George Zimmerman go, that's going to incentivize a whole bunch of other white supremacist vigilantes to go out and doing what they want to do next. The next Kyle Rittenhouse, if they let him go, is not going to be him killing white people. They don't have a thing where they kill white people. They have a thing where they kill black people. So to say, okay, he didn't kill any black people, so it's not who cares? No, we do care. That's a very ignorant statement to say no, we shouldn't care because they're not black. This is about black people. The reason why he went down is because there was a protest about Jacob Blake. Jacob Blake was a black dude who was shot by the police. So there was protests and riots because of that. So really, this started with black people. This is the whole origin of this is about black people. This is about black people. Okay. Don't think because white people got shot, this doesn't have anything to do with black people. Yes, it does. If it didn't, you wouldn't see a white supremacist judge sympathizing with him. This is a dude who is damn near open white supremacist on trial for trying to protest against, trying to be a counter protester against riot or revolution from a black man being shot. So let's not say anything stupid. Okay. Terrain Rain Reloaded is in here. What's up, Terrain? What's up, everybody in the chat? Dylan says he shot 2 white people during the Jacob Blake rebellion. He did. He shot 2 white people. He didn't come there with the intention of getting at white people. Came there with the intention of getting at black people. So I had to pause and make that statement real quick. But back onto the subject, okay? We have, her name is Annie Duncan. Annie Duncan is an Indian Trinidadian who falsified evidence sending thousands of black men to prison. Now, when you look it up, and I've looked up cases after cases, stories, articles after articles, they're not saying she sent any disproportionate number of black men to prison. They're just saying, oh, she sent people to prison. She falsified evidence. If the evidence that she falsified was even across the board, as if there was no racial bias when she was falsifying evidence. But when you see the cases of the people who are trying to get acquitted because she was falsifying evidence, you see black men. When you see pictures like this coming up, when you see all these pictures right here, these are black men. There's like one person, and they did this deliberately. There's one person who's not black in this story, in this picture right here. There's one black person, one non-black person, I mean. So yeah, she was deliberately going after black men, and she thought if she was in it by herself, which that's a big question too. How long has she been doing this without anybody knowing? I personally don't think that she was doing this and nobody else knew about it. I just don't think, not as many cases as she's done. Could she have done a few cases? Yeah. Could she have done maybe 10 cases, maybe even 100 cases without people noticing? Possibly. Could she have done thousands and thousands and thousands of cases without nobody knowing? I don't think so. I think that somebody knew exactly what she was doing. Now, she got caught and she doesn't want to spill the beans because this was a whole thing where a lot of people, a lot of forensic scientists and crime lab chemists falsify evidence on black men. So she's not spilling the beans on that, which is probably, and they all know about this, because they're not talking about how much of a sentencing that she's gonna get, and she should be thrown under the jail. Now, getting this out the way, you have people like Richard Spencer, you have people like what's that dude's name, Ben Shapiro, and all these alt-right folks who say, well, you know, if black people commit disproportionate amount of crime, so it's in the black culture, you're doing disproportionate amount of crime, so you get mad that the police come and arrest you and all this stuff. But they don't want to talk about the fact that black people get false evidence planted on them all the time. This has always been going on. This has always and forever have been going on with this microphone. Okay? I'm going to show you, and I did this before, but it wasn't a live that I did this in. So I want to do it in live so you guys can play back and watch this. This is, I think I did this in my very first video now I think about it. This is the FBI statistics based off of race, the crime rates in 2019. Now, some people might say, well, that's 2019. We're in 2021. That's not the point. That's not the point. Okay? Now, this out the way so I can drag this. Now, you see murder right here. Let me see if I can hide that. This is murder. Now, at top, let me go. This is the total. This is white. And then this is black. Now, the numbers is not that different, to be honest. It's not too much. It's less than 1,000. However, they'll say, okay, well, black people make up such a smaller percent of the population, so their numbers are just so disproportionately huge in comparison to the numbers, They're not factoring in any social economic factors, right? Now, looking at this, now going over, they have percentages, right? So the percentage of black people, now they say black people commit 50% of the crimes. That's incorrect. According to the FBI, and this only accounts for people who are arrested. This doesn't account for people who actually get convicted. So they look at the police documents of people who've been arrested by race, and they say, okay, this has been 1,000 black people who've been arrested for committing a murder at the Chicago police station. So we're going to take that into account. And then 500 white people who've been arrested for committing murder. So we're going to take that into account. And then we're going to put this number out there. So this is just the arrest. This isn't accounting any evidence. Most of these black people who on this statistic, most of these statistics, they could have gotten off. They could have gotten it. Now, most likely they didn't because the police system is biased. The justice system is biased against black men. But that does not prove that they are they have been convicted, first off. And being convicted doesn't even mean you're guilty a lot of the times. But look at this percentage, though. When they want to talk about, okay, well, black people get arrested more. Yeah, we get arrested more, but we have people falsifying evidence on black people. You have Annie Duncan sitting up there falsifying evidence on black people. Now, when they talk about this, and I had a conversation about this not too long ago. When they talk about the murders, right? Notice the very slight percentages. Now, majority of the crime in the black community is due to socioeconomic deprivation, which has a direct correlation to the violent crime rate. Okay, and that's everywhere in the world. That's not just in the black community, the urban city, whatever you want to call it. That's everywhere in the world where you have low socioeconomic deprivation, you have high rates of poverty in that region. You will have, by direct correlation, you will have a higher tendency to have violent crime there. That's everywhere in the world. Okay, that's a solid fact. So black people are the number one people in poverty in America. Most people in poverty in America are black. We face the highest rate of socioeconomic deprivation in the country. So you would think that it would be justified, not, of course, not justifying any crime. You would think that it would be justified that we would have a slightly higher percentage of violent crime. But if you really think about it, that's not even fully the case. That's not even fully the case. Look at this. This is the crime. Now they say 50%. Okay. 50%, right? So you have this percent. Now take into consideration false evidence gets planted on black people, and black people face socioeconomic deprivation, which has a direct correlation to violent crime. Take those two things into account when we're looking at this, and take into account that these are just the arrests. These are not convictions. Take into account that black people are the number one, black men specifically are the number one people to be falsely arrested for crimes that they did not commit. Take another thing into account that white men are underrepresented in arrest records. Okay, take all those 5 things into account, and let's look at this now. Okay, the percentage, then this is murder, right? 51.2. Okay, and then for white they have 45.8. So it's not that white people are killing. White on white crime is much less than black on black crime. It's really not even that big of a, it's really not that big of a difference. If we're going to be honest, it's not even a 5% difference. It's really not even a 5% difference in the murder rate between white people and black people. And you're taking into account all those 5 factors that I just told you. Okay? Something else, let's go over here and let's look at rape. Look at the percentage difference between, now we're right here. Look at the percentage difference between white people's rape. Now they want to say black people have a rape culture. Look at the differences in percentage. 69.8 versus 26.7. Still take into consideration those 5 factors. Still take that into consideration. Okay? Robbery. Of course, you know, more poor people are going to have a tendency to rob because they are poor. Not, of course, this is not me justifying any criminal action. This is just me stating the fact, right? Still not even that big of a difference. Now look at all of these things. Aggravated assault. It's a huge difference. Now you see down here, aggravated assault. What's this called? Burglary. Larceny, theft. These are huge disproportionate numbers. Right here. Arson. 70% versus 20%. All of these things, fraud. Now, when they talk about white crime versus black crime, and you have black people being disproportionately thrown in prison, black people, even when if you know how to look at statistics, and I'm just giving you, this is just I'm not even really going in depth, but if you know how to look up statistics, black people commit less crime than white people do. Just looking at this alone, if you was to add all of these things up, if you were to take just the violent crimes, okay, let's not look at arson, let's not look at like credit card fraud or something like that. Let's look at just the violent crimes. Let's look down here at the violent crimes, right down here. Violent crimes for white people is 59.1. Violent crimes for black people is 36.4. Still take into those consideration the 5 factors that I brought up. If you was to add all of these things up, it's a real head scratcher as to why black people are disproportionately sent to prison. Majority of prisons are filled with black people. Black people are overly represented in prisons. But when you look at the statistics, don't just look at that one little aspect, because you'll have people like Ben Shapiro who will say, okay, well, let's not look at the whole chart. Let's look at that little point right there to verify my point that black people are more criminal than white people. You take everything into account, just the violent crimes into account. White people commit more violent crimes. White people commit more crimes against other people than black people do. And this, it is very, very arguable that the murder and manslaughter statistic, it's very arguable that this is not accurate. That white people commit more murders and manslaughters than black people do. That's what I believe personally. I believe that based off of research that I have done. And you have white people doing crimes, white people committing most of the crimes, and black people are in prison the most. Okay? Now I'm saying that to say, I'm saying that to prove when you have cases like this, that everything is against black people. And then you look at the statistics right here. Now look at all of these statistics that were calculated, and you have people like this behind the scenes. People like Annie Duncan behind the scenes falsifying evidence. So you take that into consideration. A lot of these numbers for black people need to be dropped off. A lot of them do. Let me look at something else real quick. Let me pull something else up real quick. Now, I'm not going to read the whole thing because it's a lot to read. I want to show you something else. Let me actually zoom in a tad bit so you guys can read it with me. Let's see. Okay, right here, y'all. Right here, y'all. I'm going to read up to right here. If I want to, I'll read a little bit more. But starting from here. The United States criminal justice system is the largest in the world. At year 2015, over 6.7 million individuals were under some form of correctional control in the United States, which is in jail or like on probation or something like that, including 22 million incarcerated in federal, state, and local prisons and jails. The U.S. is the world's leader in its rate of incarcerations, drafting a rate of nearly every other nation. Okay. What's the thing? Dwarfing. Anyway, I don't know how to pronounce that. Right here. Such broad statistics make racial disparities that pervades the U.S. criminal justice system and African Americans in particular. African Americans are more likely than white Americans to be arrested. Once arrested, they are more likely to be convicted. Once convicted, they are more likely to experience lengthy prison sentences. Okay, we're right here. African American adults are 5.9 times likely to be incarcerated than white and Hispanics are 3.1 times more than whites and Hispanics are 3.1 times as likely. As of 2000, now when they say black and brown, look at the disproportionate number that black people have to go through, and then Hispanics 3.1. Hispanics and black people do not face the same issue. Do not let anybody lie to you. Okay, we're right here. What the hell? Okay, what the hell? That's not what. Okay. Okay. As of 2001, one of every 3 black boys born in that year could expect to go to prison in his lifetime, as could one of every 6 Latinos. So it's twice as many for black people compared to every one of 17 white boys. One of every 17. Okay. Racial and ethnic disparities among women are less substantial than among men, but remain prevalent. Okay. So they're saying one of every 3 black boys, one of every 6 Hispanic, and one of every 17 white boys can expect to go to prison. But when you look at the crime statistics, you see white boys committing most of the crime here. When you calculate all of these things together, this is why I did this. When you calculate all these things together, you see white boys are the ones committing most of the crime, but black dudes, black boys, black men are sent to prison 5.9 times, or 5.9 times more likely to be incarcerated than whites. Okay, so now we're back here. The source of such disparities is deeper and more systematic than expected. Hold on, let me see. I lost my phone. Then explicit. Oh, okay. Here we go. We're right here. The source of racial disparities is deeper, more systematic than explicit racial discrimination. The United States, in effect, corroborates two. It's hard to read this. This print. I hate this print. Two distinct criminal justice systems. One for more wealthy people, another for more poor people and people of color. Now, they just said poor people and people of color, but when you look at the people of color who are affected, it's black people. They're saying people of color. Just because Hispanics are more likely to be incarcerated than white people do not mean that they are on the level of black people. When you say people of color, you're lumping everybody in as if we're all facing the same issue, when in the previous paragraph, they clearly stated that black and Hispanic people are not facing the same issue. Okay. The wealthy can access vigorous efforts. Why is this? I don't know if it's my laptop that's like this or the print that's like this. It's hard for me to read on this. I'm pause that. I'm just gonna put the link in the description so you guys can check that out a bit later. Yeah, so I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna take that out though. Okay. So all of these things, when you factor in all of the things that black people, black men specifically, still the person who's number one most incarcerated. You have people planting evidence on black people. She's been doing this for years and years. She's been planting evidence. She's not the only one. I don't think she was alone in doing this. I don't think anybody knew about, that nobody didn't know about this situation. People knew about that situation. Okay. She's still doing that. Pretty much got away with scot-free for years. Nobody said, now she got caught. Now she's facing prison time. Right. But what about all those black men who were in prison? And then once you get in prison, and then once you get that record, like the unfortunate black brother, when you get that record, you have a thing called veracity, right? I think that's how you pronounce it. That's when you commit a crime and you have a record. So you have a tendency to repeat that. Criminals have a tendency to repeat crimes that they've committed. So once you have that record that strips you from doing a lot of things that normal people have done, like voting, getting certain jobs, filing out for certain loans and all that stuff. Every place wants to know, okay, you have a criminal background. Have you ever been arrested? You have a felony, all these things, right? So when you're stuck like that, you kind of put that person in you lower the ceiling for that person to accomplish anything in life. These are the obstacles that black people specifically have to face. They'll say black and brown. They'll say people of color. They'll say minority. They'll say disenfranchised. They'll say poor people. But the statistic doesn't show that poor people are falsely incarcerated. The statistic doesn't show that poor people have evidence planted on them. Okay. The statistic is showing that it's black people who are doing that. You look at the picture and you see a whole bunch of black faces who are being incarcerated, who are being lied on. And then when you look at the FBI statistics, if you actually look at it, don't let a white supremacist like Ben Shapiro tell you what the statistic is. You actually have to, first off, know how to calculate statistics. I'm not even calculating a statistic right there. I'm just pointing out the obvious. Well, if you know how to calculate statistics, that's even better. But when you look into it, when you look into the statistic, when you look at it and you take into consideration those 5 factors, like I just told you, even if you don't take into consideration those 5 factors, you'll see, hey, white people commit most of the crimes here. Even most of the violent crimes. Then they'll say violent crimes. White people commit most of the violent crimes. So why are black people 5 times to 6 times more likely to be incarcerated than white people? It's 1 out of every 3 black men versus out of every 17 white men. But when you look at the statistics, white men are commit more crimes, but black men are the ones who are getting arrested, or not arrested, convicted. Even in Professor Black Truth brought this up. Even when you look at the rate in which people call the police for disturbances, if you look at the racial rate between people calling a white family calling the police because they have a disturbance with a white person, and a black family calling the police because they have a disturbance with a black person. Excuse me. Oh, shit. Yeah. Oh. Announcement. Okay. Don't let me forget. Okay. They have the same rate. There's not really a disparity between who gets the police called on them. To be honest, there's really not. It's actually pretty it's actually pretty even. Where you see the rate change, where you see the racial disparity, is when they get arrested. Because the police get called for white people, according to, and this is evidence and studies have shown this. According to the evidence, the police get called for white people are about the same rate the police get called for black people. The disparity is when the arrest is made. And then there's a bigger disparity between when the conviction is made. Yeah, you get called, but the police have, oh, well, we'll just let you go. Everything's calm now. We'll calm now. Police rarely get called on a black person and then the black person not go to jail. The black person not get arrested. Okay? So it's a huge disparity. It's a huge disparity because the whole system is against black men specifically from the beginning to the end. Annie Duncan is not the first, is not the only, and I don't think she was alone. And you really won't see this story trending. This is one of the stories of, okay, this is clearly anti-black racism. CNN is going to touch on it very briefly in one of their stories. You didn't hear about this on like the local news. You didn't hear their big people talk about this multiple times. Because when it's a story that they want for people to hear, they'll say this on all of their channels, on their Twitter, on their Facebook, on their Instagram. They'll have this repeated over and over and over again. But when it's a story that, we can't not say anything because then they'll call us out for not saying anything. So we have to say it. We'll put this in a little article right here, a little video right here, and then we'll never mention it again. We'll never bring this up again. We'll try to bury this story. We'll bring it up and we bury it. That's what they do when it's anti-black racism. And this shows when they talk about minority coalition, the black and brown, let's look at her face again. They're talking about black and brown. This girl is what you would consider brown. She is what you would consider brown. This girl is a Indo-Trinidadian. She's not a white person. She is what you would consider a people of color. This is a person of color, a female person of color at that too. So she's like got all the minority stuff going on, and yet she's still out here targeting black people. Don't let anybody lie to you and fool you into thinking that all non-white people are in the same boat and we all people of color have to work together and we all minorities have to strive because we all disenfranchised people of color minorities are in the same boat and we face white supremacy. No, we don't. Black people are the only people who face white supremacy like that. Everybody else teams up with white supremacy against black people. Yeah, they don't benefit from it like the white person does. They're subjugated to an extent, but to an extent, they're not trying to defeat it. Black people are the only people trying to end white supremacy. We've been the only people who started anything to end it and who have continued anything to end it. They're fine with it. They just want to be second place. The Asians are fine with it. The Indians are fine with it. All these, the Hispanics, they're fine with it. Because they'll target a black person. They'll target a black person to show out for the white people because they want their race. A lot of them believe that they're white too, but they want to be second place. So black people are all we got. We have this incredibly biased criminal justice system against us. And you have women of color aiding in anti-black racism. Okay. William Kent says B1 FBA black grassroots over everyone, period. Okay. Cut the check. For real, cut the check. The buffer class strategy. These are the buffer classes. Don't let them lie to you. I've been saying, I think that's out of all of the videos that I've made, period. I think my biggest point, if you was to sum up all the points that I've made, my biggest point is that black people are all we got. That's all. We are the team. There is no alliance with anybody else. There is no coalition with anybody else. All minorities aren't going to band together and create this unified group to defeat white supremacy. That's never going to happen. Black people are all we get because everybody else is against black people. We are the standard of where the racial line is. If progress is being made, to be honest. America, the most powerful, wealthy country in the world, was built off of anti-black racism. It was not built off of anti-Indian racism, anti-Arab racism, anti-Asian racism. It wasn't built off of misogyny. It wasn't built off of the patriarchy. It wasn't built off of homophobia. It wasn't built off of anything except anti-black racism. That's what it's built off of. Okay? Everybody knows that. They're trying to lie and confuse you into thinking that, okay, well, they do get oppressed to an extent. Okay, to an extent they do. They're not white people. They don't have the benefits of being a Caucasian. So to an extent, okay. But they're trying to convince you into thinking that black and brown are in this together. How many black people have been falsely incarcerated due to brown people? Let's ask that question honestly. Because you have this brown woman. She's not even like a light-skinned Indian. She's like closer towards the dark skin. If she was in India, they would put her in that damn color caste system that they have over there, and she'd be sweeping the floors or cleaning toilets or something. Or on the damn telephone trying to scam people out of some money like they do over there. They're very well known for doing over there. That's what she would be doing if she was there. But you got brown people against black people. And even though the statistics show that white people commit most of the crimes, you still got black people disproportionately incarcerated. William says, love this channel. Thank you, Will. I appreciate everybody here. Everybody who liked. If you haven't liked yet, please leave a like. If you haven't subscribed, if you have not subscribed yet, please subscribe. Watch some of my other videos. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you think about this. Now, the announcement. Tomorrow, I've already announced this in, I think, my video I did Monday. But I'm having a sale this whole weekend, starting tomorrow. The sale where all of my merchandise on the website. Now, somebody was saying the link to the website is messed up. I'm going to go through all of my videos tonight. I'm going through all of my videos and I'm going to make sure the links work. And I'm not really sure what's like going on with the links, why the links is not taking you to where it's supposed to be taking you to. But I'm going to go through every single last one of them tonight on all of my videos. And I'm going to check and make sure the links work. So, and on my Instagram and Twitter. My links are on my Instagram and Twitter too. So you guys, if you're following me on social media, you guys can go to the links there too. But we're having a sale where all of the merchandise for the whole weekend is free shipping. Free shipping starting tomorrow. Tomorrow's Friday. Free shipping all weekend long. Okay? So you have mugs like this, and I told you how much Black First mugs right here. I told you how much I love that stuff. That mug, my hoodie, one of my best hoodies, to be honest. And I'm not being biased. I mean, it's comfortable. The room is great. Everything about it is great. The merchandise is really, really good. Okay, I have had a bunch of people buy merchandise. I have not had one single complaint about the quality of the merchandise. Okay, and if you get it, and if you have an issue with it, if there's a problem with it, I've said this before. If you bought merchandise and there was an issue with it, and there's like it was damaged or something, hit me up. Hit me up on either you can hit me up on my social media or something. I think I might put my email down. I already get a lot of emails. I don't know if I want to do that yet. Just hit me up on my social media, and I will work on replacing your merchandise for you. If your merchandise comes up damaged, let's say for whatever reason, just hit me up. You know, we can go through it. See a picture of like the damage or whatnot. We can work on getting that replaced for you. Okay, but let me see. How long have I been on here? Yeah, I've been on here. Oh wow, this is gonna be a little bit shorter. Normally I go over an hour. Going about 50 minutes. About 50 minutes. I'm gonna cut it off here. There's some things gotta do tonight. He said, didn't even know I had merch. Yeah, I have some merch. I'm working on this new design, and I've been saying this for a while. I wanted to launch it by the 1st of November, but I'm still working on the design for it. So it should be ready sometime coming up soon. It should be. And then when it gets ready, I'm gonna put a sale up for that too. So I'm not gonna spoil what it is. But the website is in the link below. If that doesn't work, I'm going to work on it right after I close this video off. If that doesn't work, you can go to either my Twitter at J_Elite10 or my Instagram at J_Elite10, and you guys have the link there. But I'm working on all of the videos because I know there is some problems with that. I appreciate everybody who's been here. I appreciate everybody who's liked, subscribed. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Share this video, put this on your social media, please. I appreciate that. We're still trying to get to 1,000 subscribers by the end of the year, which is a achievement that we can accomplish together. We can accomplish that. We can do that. I genuinely believe that we honestly can do that. So, but I need your help for it. I need you guys to help me with that. Okay? So if you guys help me do that, I will be greatly appreciative of you guys. As Black people, like I said, we all we got. We got to stick together. I'm going to get off here. Family, you guys have a good one. Have a great weekend. Be safe. Okay? Be safe, family. Don't forget the sale. Be safe. Black first.